Welcome everybody. My name is Ade, and I'll be showing you today, making a little art with you today. We'll be doing some printmaking, and I thought it would be a fun idea to do some flowers. It's spring. We're seeing all these blooms everywhere, and I thought we could be inspired by our surroundings. And yeah, so we'll be making some art today. Before we get started into our activity, I wanted to kind of go over, our mission statement with Art Matters with the Albuquerque Museum. I wanted to go over, some supplies that we're going to be needing, and also a little bit of like community agreement so we can have a safe space to make art with everybody. All right, so first things up, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'll be sharing the mission statement. All right, so our mission statement for Art Matters is the Art Matters Youth Arts Project is a group of teaching artists who bring authentic, engaging arts experiences to Albuquerque youth. Our content is designed to engage participants in art making with the focus, on social justice, whole person health, mental health, community, bringing joy into the creative process. And we just want to engage with young people, creatively. And that's like at the core of our process. All right. Another thing that we do is, we make these videos, but along with that, we also go into certain spaces like the detention center. We go to New Day, and we go to Art Street, and we try to engage with youth in those ways as well, in person. All right, so before we get started, we're going to go over the community agreements. So one of the things is, when you're in a space together, we want to just make sure that everyone has a voice, make space for like respectful questions, concerns, all ideas are valid. We want to learn from each other. And of course, respect each other, yourself, the tools, the materials. We want to take care of the materials so they last longer. We want to respect the environment. There's this thing called throw glitter, not shade. So, compliment each other, uplift each other up, hold space for joy, and have fun. Also be an artist and a maker. So that means, if you feel like you're not an artist or you're good at it or something, just, everybody's an artist and we want to take those risks and see what happens, because sometimes you never know what can come of something. And don't be afraid to try new things. Yeah, let's just create. And another big one is, ask questions, listen to each other. You can give feedback if you're open to it, maybe share ideas, collaborate with each other. Yeah, and lift each other up. All right, so it's going to be it for our agreements. And now we can go ahead and get started on our spring blooms printmaking. So first we want to get all our materials together. So some of the things that we're going to need is paint. We're going to need some paint, the acrylic paints, any colors you want. I'm choosing these colors. And we're also going to want a few blank sheets of paper. So I have these like small cutouts. You can have this size bigger or smaller if you want. You're going to need a pencil. You're also going to need a pen. We're also going to want a paintbrush. Okay, and then the most important thing we're going to need is styrofoam. So we're going to do styrofoam printmaking, and I'll explain the process as we go. So you can get creative with it. You can use a styrofoam plate. You can use styrofoam cup. I think the coolest one that I got was, a styrofoam from a to-go box. So that Texas Roadhouse. You can just cut it up any size you want And, you know, it's very accessible, very affordable. And here was the print that I made. So this is from a styrofoam to-go box. All right, so take a minute, gather your materials, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We're gonna actually start with the warm-up first, just to kind of get our hands moving, kind of loosen them up, and start getting ideas for our actual project. All right, so if you need to pause, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the warm-up. So the warm-up, we're just gonna need our pencil. You can use a pen if you want, but for the sake of just kind of doing it real quick, we're gonna take about, you know, maybe 5 minutes, maybe less. I'm gonna throw on some music, but while that's playing, I want you guys to kind of think about, you know, flowers. Kind of take a minute to like meditate on flowers. You know, it's spring, you see all these blooms around you. You can kind of either take it from memory, or if you want to maybe go outside and get inspiration, or just, you know, whatever comes to mind, just quick, don't think about it too much, but like, we're just gonna draw some flowers. We're gonna try to fill the whole page. This is not this is not our final project. This is just to warm our hand up and to think about, you know, flowers. So go ahead and get started. I'll play music, and then once it stops, we'll be done. Kind of whatever comes to mind. I draw these. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just warming our hand up, loosening it up. Whatever comes to mind, first thing. All right, so that's gonna be it for just a little warm up. Kind of get those hands loosened up. We just did some, you know, little random flowers. And then now we'll move on to the next part, the actual art activity that we want to do, which is, you know, screen printing or print making. So what we're gonna do first, okay, we're gonna take let me actually just show you an example of what it'll actually look like. So what I actually did was drew this flower, which is a marigold, which is a flower used a lot in, you know, the Day of the Dead celebrations, Dia de los Muertos. It represents, you know, the celebration of life, and it helps, you know, in the mythology of, you know, of multiple indigenous cultures in Mexico believe that this flower actually helps, you know, spirits and the people who have recently passed, ancestors, you know, pass on to the next world or plane beyond the physical. It's actually a very powerful, special flower. It doesn't have to be that deep when you do yours. You could just kind of choose a flower that's either meaningful to you, or you think it's pretty, or you like, or it could be something that's, you know, very personal to you. So however you want to express yourself in this way. So anyway, I did this. I'm kind of gonna carve into the styrofoam, and what's gonna come of it is a little print. You can see how it was transferred from this to this. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. And you can make as many as you want. They're not all gonna look the same, and they're not all gonna be perfect, but you know, it's just fun. We're having fun. We're seeing what we can create. All right, so what you're gonna do is take your styrofoam. You can either use a pencil or you can use a pen. First, I like to lightly kind of draw my flower. So try not to press too hard at first. So I'm just gonna draw a very simple sunflower. Just very lightly, all right? It's very simple. Once you get like the simple, basic design, you do this with pencil or pen. Once you get that simple, basic design, we can start carving inside the lines. And we don't want to press too hard to where it rips, but enough to create a like a indentation. So we're kind of carving like if we would with a real print, like with a wood carving or something, but except it's not wood carving, it's styrofoam. You don't need a lot of tools, you don't need a lot of supplies. It's actually very accessible to people who don't have, you know, fancy tools, fancy art supplies. That's why I really like it. So I'm gonna carve that out. We'll keep going. Play some music for a minute while I finish carving this out. And then we'll move on to the next step. So try to get all your details carved really nice and clear. I'll show you how to do the print with my other styrofoam that I made. I'm doing this kind of fast. But take your time if you need. You can pause the video. The more detail you add, the better it's gonna come out. But if you don't want to do too much detail, you can keep it as simple as possible. You don't have to add too much, but I'm adding these little lines to create some more realistic elements. All right, so we have our flower. And you can kind of place the flower anywhere you want. And make sure it just fits the size of your paper, because you're going to transfer this onto your paper. You can, the composition could be in various places. It could be here, it could be multiple flowers. Try to get creative with how you place your flower. I'm doing in the middle, in the center, just so I can show you guys a very simple way to do it, so you can get as creative as you want. All right, so we have our cutout. And now we're going to take our sheet of paper. So your blank sheet of paper, make sure it fits. So it's going to fit, right? So now you're going to take your paint. And also, if you want to pause this and grab some water so you can put your brushes in, I'm going to go ahead and use this bigger brush just so I have more, because I have a kind of a bigger piece. And I'm going to take some paint. And I'm going to choose this shade color. So have your styrofoam and have your paper ready. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is you can go ahead and put your paint on either a paper plate, or if you have palettes, put your paint on a palette. I'll go ahead and just put a little bit right here. Okay, so my paint is there. And I'm gonna lightly some water. I'm gonna water it down a little bit. Not too much, but we're gonna want to go over this very light. And yeah, just gonna kind of brush it over. You want to make sure you don't get too much paint in the lines because then it won't come out how we want. So you can use various colors. You could even use multiple colors on one. I'm showing you the simple way for simplicity reasons. Once you have your paint, don't wait too long because it'll dry. So then you're just gonna put your paper over it. This. We're transferring it. And then you're gonna want to push, kind of hard. Make sure you're getting that transfer nice. And sometimes it comes out good looking, and sometimes you gotta try multiple times. That's the cool thing about printmaking, is you can print it multiple times. So now we're gonna see how it came out. Peel it. And then there we go. We got a little sunflower right there. Printmaking. So now what you could do is you can do multiple of these. You can, give them as gifts. You can choose different colors. What you could even do is make multiple, styrofoam designs and use them both onto one piece of paper. So you kind of have multiple flowers. You can do 2 colors in one. You can do a variety of things with this, and you can keep it forever. Like, these will last a long time. Just make sure you rinse it, to wash the paint off so you can reuse it again. And there we have it. We have our printmaking flowers. There we go. Very simple and very fun. And you can make cards with these. You can give them to your friends, or keep them for yourself. And if you want, you can even add things over it. So you can let this dry and make a different print, maybe some words, print that on top, and you can continue working on one paper with multiple images, multiple mediums. It's really fun, and it's a very simple way to make art. All right, then. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for, making art with me. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Share your work with each other. Talk about it, see how it feels. And also think about kind of like what was the difference between printmaking and any other form of art, such as like just drawing a simple or painting a simple flower. Yeah, so you guys can go ahead and talk about it amongst yourselves. So that's it for me. My name is Ade, and I will see you guys next time.